again, on a bigger scale, instead of saying, I don't want to post every day, why don't I do something that's going to help me make more money and help more people become equipped to do something that's made this man money, because it's not like he didn't have the money. He just didn't have the vision.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Major, and I have a very cool person back with us today, Patten Weisner. And Tara and I are going to discuss one of our favorite subjects. We're going to totally geek out with you and talk about AI, and not just from the perspective of, oh, is AI taking over the world? Whatever. I mean, let's just accept the fact that AI is here to stay. But really, how do you use it in your life to make a difference, make your life simpler, easier, faster to go through, less painful, reduce your expenses, whatever it is? And so I have the perfect girl here to tell us exactly how to do that. So Miss Tara Weisner Ads, talk to us. Give us the
Hello.
skinny.
Yes, well, I'm so glad to be back with you today because we had such a good chat last time. And I just think, you gave me so many ideas about how to really take it down to like the basic level
Yep.
of, hey, I've been using ChatGPT. I keep hearing about Claude. It's so funny. I just saw this meme. It's like everybody's using Claude, and this lady's like saying it very like with an English accent. It's like Claude is totally upscale from ChatGPT, but people don't know what to do with Claude, and so we're going to talk today about how to really master these tools and get them to work for you instead of being overwhelmed by them.
I love that. And how to what I would love to do, because you're really good at this, is demystify the whole thing. So apologies ahead of time if I interrupt you and say, "Okay, wait a second." It's only because I'm trying to put on my listener hat and I'm trying to say, "Okay, wait a second. Would I be confused if I were hearing this on a podcast?" So bear with me when I do that, but we're going to just I don't want to say start at the very beginning, because, we're not going to discuss the history of AI, but I do think it's important to say so many of us got started on ChatGPT, right? It was like, oh, AI, that was the easy way in, kind of super low barriers to entry. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Claude, Claude can do that. Claude can, and it's just like, I'm like, do you even freaking know what you're talking about? People, like, I have a feeling that they don't. So let's talk about what the difference is, when to use what, and kind of maybe even why the everyman can use AI to help their lives, right? Like maybe it's even just that grassroots, and then we build from there. Like in our lives, we can use AI. I mean, we know for a million things, but some practical things that people struggle with, right? And then how you would kind of branch off with them. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. That's a great way to look at it. So I think one of the things that people get to do with the power of AI is think differently when it comes to how you're using it. And what I mean by that is, I want you to ask yourself, is there anything that I do repetitively or that I could outsource or automate? For example, I don't like writing emails, and so many people email me all the time. So I have set up an AI employee that automatically drafts a response in my tone and what I would say, and sometimes even better than what I would say.
Yeah.
And then before it sends it, so the emails come in, I'll read the email, I'll look at the response, I can edit the response or hit send. And then it learns from my editing of the response, oh, okay, this is actually what she wants to say. So then it gets better. So you're not just thinking about this as like I always say input equals output, right? But you're
Yes.
also with LLMs, which are the large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They are machine learning, which means you are training it every
Yes.
time you use it. So that's really important to remember. So when I tell my automated bot to, okay, this is actually the response I want, now it knows. So now the responses to the emails are even more in my own tone. And I
Yes.
think you ask yourself, okay, what are the things that I don't love doing? Balancing a checkbook, or don't, not that we even do that anymore, but
Right.
what are some redundant things like emails or reporting? That's a good one.
That's a great one.
A lot of times I come up with proposals with what we're doing, scripting. What are some things that I can actually train an agent inside Claude to do on my behalf?
Pause there. So I have this form. In fact, if anybody wants it, just shoot me an email at info@thepartygoddess.com and tell us that you want this form that I created a million years ago. Basically, it was like therapy, and it was this sheet that I could print out, and I called it stuff that's bugging the sh out of me. And I would just like, do this whole Julia Cameron kind of journaling thing where I would just write, this is bugging me and this is bugging me. And what's so funny is you look at a few of those, or you look at a few days, even if you just journal, it is so often the same stuff. Like we're repeating the stuff that's repetitively bothering us. And so I think like one action item that people can do is just take out a piece of paper right now, because assuming they're listening to this probably on their phone or computer, but just start like jotting down things that bug the daylights out of you. That tell me what you think about this, Tara, but I think we shouldn't edit it. Like, I don't think we should try to make a list in order. At first, just write down all the anything, whether it's like, I hate grocery shopping, I hate whatever it is. And then forget about whether you think AI can help. Don't get in your head. Just get it down on paper, because I think from there that we can extract things, right? And
Mhm.
then you and I have this deal, and the listeners don't know this yet, but you're going to be coming on about once a month to talk with us all about AI and strategies and stuff like this. So people can really talk about like a large language model. People can really build on the knowledge that they're going to be learning here. So do you agree? Start with this list, whether or not you think AI can help. And then maybe what we'll do for one of these things is we'll have, a place where people can send in questions, or, you can post comments, I guess, on our Prophet Goddess YouTube channel if you watch this show there. And then you can start building questions and answering people's questions. But thoughts?
Yeah, I love questions because questions help me understand exactly what the marketplace and the people that I work with. Because I do two things. I create ads with AI and I create an ecosystem to have speed to lead response. And what that means is, so many people, let's talk about that, right? If you get a lead in and you're
Oh,
doing something else, right? Like you don't
yep.
want to stop what you're doing. So what my AI has done is I make the ad using AI, and
Yeah.
then I have an AI agent that immediately turns around and qualifies that lead. You got a hot lead that's put their information in. Do you have this, this, and this? If it is qualified, then okay, now it's going to go. I'm going to connect you with an agent in the field, this AI agent who sounds very real,
Hmm.
says, and then it round robin rings to all of the people on the business phone. And this is great for home service providers, things like that. So one of the things that we noticed was, okay, we've got all these leads coming in, but by the time this person who's
Yep.
painting a house or mowing a lawn or pressure washing a driveway gets back to them, they've already called three other places. So they've
Yes.
moved on. So you're actually spending money on lead generation to get other people business. Yeah.
Right, exactly, because and literally, it can be the luck of the draw. Like, that person who has the lawn mowing business or whatever it is, they just might happen to hear their phone or stop and take the break and take the call, and then exactly, you paid for the ad, the person is like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, I do need my lawn mowed." They click on your ad, you're paying for it, and then they're like, "Oh, fricker, they didn't answer, so I'm gonna go down the list," and it's all these days about speed. I mean, I hate to say that, but it is, you nailed it with, what did you say? Speed to lead? Can we?
Speed to lead. Yeah, absolutely. And that has been a game changer. I started creating AI ads 9 months ago in place
Wow.
of filming actual ads, which I've been doing for the last 10 years with crews and, very high price production
Yep.
points, as you know. And
Yes.
now I can do it in a couple of days all by myself, so I can make it a lower barrier to entry. You're charging a lot less money and you're turning around a lot faster. But also, the other thing that I do now is I teach people how to do it because they're all like, "How do you do that?" And
Yeah.
so everybody wants to know, "Well, how do I program my Claude? How do I get my Go High level set up this way? It's really overwhelming for me." And I have this library of training videos. I do group coaching calls. Like you
Awesome.
mentioned, we're going to be doing this once a month to really help people understand, listen, it is not as hard as you think. You don't have to be
Right.
afraid of it. Here's where you can start. And I always suggest, and this is one thing that people don't even realize, there's a little microphone button, right? On
Yep.
your Claude, on your your ChatGPT, hit that microphone button and just start talking to it
Yes.
like it's your friend, like it's your
Mhm.
therapist, like it's your doctor, and
Like
start.
it's the 2 of us. Like, I'm just gonna call Marley and Tara, and I'm just gonna biatch, biatch, biatch. Yes.
Yeah.
And but you're right. And I think the thing for people who are new to this is that you've got to just think of it this way. And I know you said it as well, Tara, but I really want to underscore it for especially like small business owners like me or moms or people who have a lot on their plate, right? It's the thing I constantly hear with coaching clients, et cetera, is I might as well just do it myself, right? Like, oh, I tried that, whatever it was, hiring a VA, et cetera, and I might as well just do it myself.
Mhm.
And I believe me, I totally get it. We've all been there.
Yep.
I think what is very important is to remember, though, unlike hiring a VA, and there's some great things with that, but you you are constantly building. So sometimes I think we have to get out of the mindset that AI is like just another temp employee that we're going to spend time training and then they're going to go off and get another job or they're going to quit or they're not going to show up. No, the beauty of AI is that you're going to start training it and the employees of the world can go do whatever they are going to do, but you like time in, you are logging miles. And it's amazing how in years that I've been using mine, how it is just this wealth of information. So it's kind of like training the employee that's never going to leave your side, you know?
That's
Would you
exactly
agree?
what it is. Absolutely. Training an employee that you don't have to pay, that doesn't
Right.
take a sick day, that never
Yes.
stops working, that is more efficient than you could ever imagine.
Yes.
And that is what people need to shift into their thinking is I'm not just, having this help me write an email.
Right.
I'm creating a system and
The system.
training, someone, basically something, some program to take all these things off my plate and make my life easier so I can go and live the life I really want to, but things can still get done.
Here's the other beautiful thing because I think entrepreneurs, so many of us have ADHD, no surprise. Creative people, or small business, whatever, we're all pulled in 25 different directions. And so what I do think is you can work in spurts with it. So let's say if you have an employer, you have a VA, you're going to set a minimum of a 30, 45-minute Zoom call where you're going to be like, let me train you on this, this, and this. Okay. But with the large language models, you can do it in spurts. So you could spend 10 minutes, and this is too much information, but I sometimes my hack for business is I hate emails, I hate doing all that kind of admin stuff, and I will take a bath and I will not get out of the bath until my work is done. Now, my record now as of like 2 weeks ago is like a 5.5 hour bath. I can answer all the questions, but I will not let myself out of the bath. But here's the thing. You can do 10 minutes of, hey, I need to do and build on it and then stop. It doesn't matter. Like if you get tired, if it's 11 o'clock at night, and God forbid you text an employee or try to like email an employee at 11 o'clock at night, especially in California, we'd be sued and murdered, right? But you can spend 5 or 10 minutes. And it's just the best part is it's all cumulative. It's like getting your steps in, right? It's like you're really getting paid for like the miles you log.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. And, I love that you had a 5.5 hour bath.
Oh yeah, I mean, like 2 days or whenever it was Monday, I think. I like first of all, it's also inversely proportional to like if the more overwhelmed or stressed I am, the more time I spend. Well, I guess maybe that is versely. I don't know, whatever. That's equally proportional. But when I'm stressed out, I re-straighten my hair and I apply lip gloss. Those are like the immediate fixes. When it gets to the point that I need to take a bath, and Monday I took two. I think my total that day was like 4.5 hours, but I was like, I just got to get now. Granted, it's like full of Epsom salts and all this stuff, and God only knows I'm probably have some magnesium addiction now. But it's just sometimes the only way to get it done, and that's when I just process my own large volumes of information.
Yeah, and I love that you are aware of that, right? And that okay, this is how I have to do this. And I think if more people could say to themselves, well, this is how I'm going to get this done.
Yes.
Like you just demonstrated, okay, I got to go take a bath to get all this admin stuff done. If
Yes.
more people could say to themselves, okay, what is it that I don't want to do that I keep avoiding?
Yes.
Right. And then how can I program AI to do it for me? But I
Yes.
think the real brain explosion comes from when you think about how you can take your knowledge, your skills, your wisdom, your creativity, and make it into something and then set it up
Yes.
and then let it just make you money and let it
And,
just turn that around for you.
and there are few things I will tell you in the world. Forget about even the making the money component. I'm just going to start with there are few things in the world that are better feelings than doing something, setting it up, and then watching it run and actually watching it work. You're like, no way. And I think that is AI on steroids, right? Like when I first started, at first I was just intimidated. I didn't even know. So if you're listening and you haven't, you've heard of Claude or you've heard of Chat GPT, but you haven't played around with it a lot, that's what you just have to do. You just have to, right? You just download the app, get the program, listen to this, call Tara if you want and get more info. But at the very least, just start somewhere because like you and I were doing some different things in Claude, working on a project, which we will be talking about all kinds of definitely talking about. But you and I were working on something. You're like, okay, do this, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I'm going to make you do it. And it isn't like it was the first time I'd been on Claude, but everybody has their different work processes and hacks and tips. And I think that's why even if somebody's listening to this and it's like, oh yeah, well, I've used Claude for X amount of years, I guarantee you there's something we're going to say here that you're going to be like, oh, because all you do is you change the prompt to Claude or you refine something. And I think that's the beautiful part about AI is you can just keep refining and refining and refining. And then you can say to it, and oh, by the way, apply all this critique I just gave you to every project we do, you know,
Yeah, and program it.
and program it. So I, as usual, got astray. I think we talked about, okay, hey, listen, write the things that you need help with, repetitive tasks, stuff you don't like to do. And then we kind of built out like, hey, it's going to build upon each other, build upon itself, and you're going to learn. But now, so let's say people go, okay, I'm willing to try it. I haven't really dug in before. Where do I start? Chat GPT, Claude, like what's the difference? What are the mistakes people are making?
Great question. So I think the mistakes that I see the most is not giving Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini the right prompt. So then they say, oh, well, this crap came out. Okay, because you put crap in.
Yeah.
So, how do you put in something that is really effective, that is going to give you an output that is going to be like mind blowing, way beyond what you could have ever thought of? And that's the RCCF framework. I call it the RCCF framework. And what that is roles, context, command, and format. So RCCF, and I'll break that down. So the role sort of act as a famous podcaster, that needs guests for, this and that. So context, right? So you want the role of, like, here's another good one. Let's say let's scratch that example. Let's say for businesses that I work with, that I build ads for. Okay, act as a business strategist and a multi seven figure experienced marketing and advertising agency. And so there's your role, right?
Yep.
So here's why I need you to act as. And then your next one is your context. And develop me a 30-day content plan and an ad format so that I can have, this ideal client. And you can even ask it to write you out an ideal client for this
Mhm.
offer. What's the command that you're asking it to do? So I need all of these things in this context. And then this is what I need. And then the format you want it delivered in, and do it in a Word document or a spreadsheet or something.
I want to expand upon that and give an example. The reason I want to give an example is I hope my middle son is not listening to this, but God bless him. The kid has an IQ of 7,000. You would never know it because every question you ask him, he looks at you and the response is, huh? So, what I want for the moms out there or the business owners who work with teenagers or young 20-year-olds, Think of it like you are explaining to a teenager how to load and unload the dishwasher. That includes some fine china and silver that has to be hand washed, and like all the specifics, right? So it's like you have to be just really granular in the beginning. Like, to my son Stanley, bless him. Stanley, you are the best dishwasher at the finest restaurant, 1789 in Georgetown. You have a lot of dishes that have to be put into the dishwasher that are different types of like, it's, you just have to be very specific. You're going to do this, and it's almost like a decision tree too. Like when you get better, I think at talking to the large language models, right? Like when you encounter plain dishes, fine, scrub them with the wire brush and put them in the dishwasher. When you encounter, next level, china, it cannot go in the dishwasher, set aside to hand wash, right? When you encounter bump, bump, bump. So it's getting really granular and not assuming anything. It's kind of like going back to the old days of when we would be goal setting, right? And you would say, my old thing everybody knows from reading my book is when I set out my first business to, I'm going to do $1 million in sales at 22 in the restaurant business. Well, I didn't say I'm going to do $1 million in sales with X amount of profit per year, right? I just said, oh, the $1 million in sales. Well, guess what? If you spend 1.1, it doesn't matter that you did $1 million in sales. You're an idiot. You just lost $100,000, right? So like you have to really qualify it. So it's like, oh, somebody says, I want a boyfriend. I want to, okay. It's like, does it matter? Can it be the homeless guy who lives in Sweden when you live in LA? And you got to be really specific. Think of it like a genie, right? That's going to deliver you what you tell it. So be really careful. What do you think of my pontification?
I love that. That's a great way to put it. It's a genie in a bottle.
The genie in a bottle, but you got to be, if you're not really clear, just amazing. You realize how, to me, it has been a huge lesson in communication, because to me, you realize if you are not really specific, how many possibilities exist in the world to deliver a way to do something, right?
Exactly. And like, think about it like this too. Instead of, okay, I need to do these tasks faster, I need to outsource them. What can I do that creates impact, income, inspiration, whatever that is, without me having to spend my time building it over and over and over again, or without me having to explain it to someone over and over and over again. I mean, that's why I have like a love Loom, and I have,
Ugh.
YouTube and all these training videos in school. Oh, I have a video about that. Go watch it. I'm not going to spend another
Yes.
20 minutes saying the same thing again.
Because I think that's the point where people who are new at it like, it can start to go off the rails a little bit, right? Like you can, it can deliver you, because it'll deliver you. I mean, if you don't give it some framework, it can deliver you a 30-page manual on how to load the dishwasher. It can give you 5 bullet points, you know what I mean? Like formatted as a text message. So I think that's really key too, is, hey, give me 5 bullet points, cheat sheet notes for an interview with Tara on X, right? Or give me the whole history of this and this and this so I really know what I'm talking about. And then give me 10 questions and, 10 follow ups. Where do you see people in your RCCF formula? Where do you see people go wrong the most? Like what seems to trip people up the most?
They're just not thinking big enough. They're just trying to, it's like when the internet came out, right?
Yeah.
Like people are like, okay, I have email, I have chat rooms, I have these things that now I don't need mail in my mailbox. I have it on
Right.
my computer. I can go talk to people on this little online room instead of having to be in a physical room with them.
Right.
So you go and you think, okay, I'm replacing, what I'm usually doing with this other thing. That's not what AI is designed for, in my opinion. I
Okay.
think it's designed to help you completely come out of the way things are being done and the way you are doing things, and
Yes.
come up with a bigger, broader vision so that you can reach more people, help more people, make more money, do whatever it is that you want to do. For example, let me give you an example because I think examples are really helpful. I had a guy
Yes.
call me yesterday and he says, "Hey, I know you do social media content. I want an AI clone. I want this, so that I don't have to film my own social media content." And I said, "Okay." I said, "How much money do you make off your social media content? How many leads do you get?"
Oh, I can't. I know he's going to say, I don't know. Right.
Yeah. Oh, of course. He doesn't know. And as an ads girl, right, I can tell you all those numbers, but you do get to have organic content and paid ads and kind of test things and see where, I mean, you never know. You really don't. So, but he wanted to spend all this money creating an AI clone and pumping out daily content. And instead, I said, "Well, what is it that you're trying to create?" And he's in insurance, he does commercial insurance, right?
Hmm.
I said, "How do you make the most money?"
Hmm.
And he said, "Well, I guess the way I make the most money is by training people to be insurance agents." And I said, "Okay, well, what if we created a course
Hmm.
where it was all videos? We made an
Hmm.
ad to a landing page and they signed up for your course for 2 grand or whatever. And they walk through the course. And then at the end, they take a test. And then you spend your money on doing that instead of an AI clone that's maybe not going to get you a commercial insurance lead. And I can tell you right now, yeah, I don't think your commercial insurance leads are staring at their Instagram and Facebook all day, but
Right.
you never know. But these ads really can hit, and we should do, YouTube and da. And he's, "Wow, you can do that." And I says, "Yeah, let's just build out the video course and then have it make money for you again and again and again." And then it trains people to do, and you can really see in that course how they're doing. Is this the kind of person that you want representing you, working for you, things like that. So you, again, on a bigger scale, instead of saying, "I don't want to post every day, why don't I do something that's going to help me make more money and help more people become equipped to do something that's made this man money?" Because it's not like he didn't have the money, he just didn't have the vision. And I think that's what most people are missing is they're not thinking big enough about what is possible with AI. They're just trying to replace monotonous tasks, which is a great place to start
That's
if
a
you
great
ask
place to
me.
start. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I started. And when back in September, when I actually took a training course that I paid a couple grand for, to learn how to create images and videos and edit, these ads so that they were really effective, it blew my mind. And I was like, "Okay." But then there's all these people that are in my class as well that didn't know how to take that skill and then turn it into a business, right? Now they have the
Right.
skill. They put a couple posts on their Facebook and they're wondering why nobody's hiring them to make these videos.
And so
Or my
what did you do differently? Because I want to go back in a second to talking about your insurance guy, but you guys are all in the same class, right?
Mhm.
And well, first of all, what prompted you to get to take the class in the first place?
Well, I wanted to learn how to do it. I kept seeing all these AI things everywhere that look crap.
Yeah. So you're like, I can do this better.
I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "If the people can do this, like, I wanna learn how to do it and do it better." And I actually had one of my ads was selected for the AI Film Awards in Cannes back in
Oh,
May. So, I made it a mission
yeah.
to create something every day for 6 months, and I still create something.
Ah.
But it's like that consistency, and I learned, and I learned, and I learned, and I learned, and I learned.
Okay, so you take the class in September. How long was the class?
It was 8 weeks.
Ooh, okay. So you take it, and then the other people are in the class, and they're doing Facebook posts, and you are like, "Okay, bye. I'm off on my scooter, sailing in front of you ahead." What were your next steps? So you learn this, and then you just go, "I'm going to have an ad business," or did you kind of already know that's where you wanted to be?
Well, I have been working in advertising for about 10 years. So I did have an advantage of that. But I also had, and I think the most important thing again is your mindset around it.
Yeah,
I also had this mindset of, "Oh my gosh, I can charge, 1,500, 2,500 for a 30-second, 60-second ad and do it
yeah,
all myself rather than 15,000, 30,000." So for
right,
me, it was an easy sell because I'm going to the people that have those kinds of budgets, that
right,
it's a no-brainer when you bring them,
right.
something for a couple grand. They're like, "Yeah, I can have a
Yeah.
commercial for that. Of course. Why wouldn't I do that?" So I think it's a matter of changing again your mindset and your mentality around what is possible
Right.
what you're capable of delivering,
Right.
and then not limiting yourself to, okay, well, this is as far as I've ever gone, but saying, okay, maybe this is going to push me past my comfort zone. So, one of the things that happened for me was I started doing franchise advertising.
Mhm.
So what happened was, you get big orders for multiple locations at one time. Rather than just doing one ad, you're doing 10 ads, you're doing 50 ads, you're doing 100 ads, and it's
Mhm.
so easy to duplicate and redo those ads when you have a script and you can just localize everything for national brands,
Right. Right.
and then get paid bulk scale to crank these things out. So for me, it was just the belief that this was possible. And I see all these people that, because we're all in this Facebook group, and 9 months later, and there's always new people coming in and they're charging $100, $200, and they still think it's a lot of money. And I'm like, it costs $200 just to have the subscription to the thing that makes the images and videos. Like, why would you not charge more? And what
Right.
about your time, your creativity? So, anyways, my point being, I think it always comes down to your vision and your belief. What
Yeah.
is possible and what you can imagine, and then your commitment to doing it no matter what. And I think so many people quit before they
Yeah.
succeed. They're so close. I see it happen all the time. They're so close and then they just quit. I recently lost about 35 pounds in the last 6 months as well.
What?
I know, I know. And it's
What
not,
in the world? How
it
did
was
you do that?
Well, I
Jesus.
I just committed every day to doing something, whether it be going for a walk or not eating a brownie or, one thing. I just needed to do one thing every day. And that's how I did it with and it really was like boot camp with my AI stuff too. I just said, I'm going to commit to doing something every day where I create, where I learn, where I practice. I have a Facebook group called AI Daily where I put out all these different tools because there's like things coming at you from every direction all the
Literally
time.
daily. Yeah.
It's just a matter of, like, finding the problem and
Yeah.
then finding the tool to solve it. But in all of that, and I think this is just maybe even way bigger than AI, is your mentality
Yeah.
around it.
It's sort of having everything be quiet for a second, starting to just write out, like, where are you versus where do you want to be? Like the longitude and latitude. And you just you write, write, write. And then to me, pick something that's just the biggest sticking point that you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to just focus on this right now. And you do that. And then, like we're talking about, AI can really supersize that whole component to whatever it is you commit to doing. And then, like you're saying, it's just, or like Woody Allen says, 80% is just showing up, every day, every day, every day, showing up. And now you're charging, I mean, significantly more than the other people in your classes. But going back to just the basics, I think if people had just one action item, it would be jump on your Facebook group, the AI Daily, so they can just get used to your voice and and just kind of get into that world, right? And get in with other people who are interested in the same thing. And then I would say next is like download one of the apps. So let's go back to you you're now deciding, I almost said Google, ChatGPT, Claude, you've heard a lot about it. Now what? Like, how does somebody say, okay, I've signed up for AI Daily. I get it. I'm going to commit. I'm going to do something with AI every day. Now what? You're at that fork in the road.
Yeah, and I think then you look at, okay, what can I do that's going to generate me income? Because that's really what most people wanna learn.
Yeah.
They want 2 things. Everybody wants 2 things:
Hmm.
more time or more money or both.
Hmm.
Everybody.
Hmm.
And so that's a vehicle. This is a vehicle to get there. How do I get more time and more money? And that's the main question people are asking me every day.
Okay.
And so you can do that by saying, okay, how can I monetize my knowledge, my services, my whatever that is?
Hmm.
How can I do this? I mean, you have a lot of people that, this is recession proof stuff like painters. I work with
Yeah.
a painting company that, a national franchise. And, you can't, AI can't paint your house,
Right.
like AI can't cut your grass.
Right.
So, my husband's a pressure washer, like AI can't pressure wash for you. So you have to think, okay, if I have a service,
Hmm.
how can I get that in front of the people that are going to pay me top dollar and that I'm going to, that I'm going to be able to get some more time back. So for him and for his business, who I've actually helped, we got people to
Mhm.
start little divisions under him to do the work for him. Right. So he can do the quotes, he can do this, he can do that. But the actual work gets done by other
Mhm.
people. And so he still makes a profit on that, but he gets more time back.
One thing you just gave me that that you and I have to explore offline, because what you just described is basically the E Myth Revisited, right? The book, one of my favorite books, Michael Gerber. And what I want to do after this at some point is I want to play around, you and I, with doing a prompt for, hey, we're going to create this system, but you're going to be Michael Gerber teaching us as the E Myth Revisited, because it's all about working on your business, not just in it, like not just being the pressure washer, but guiding the pressure washers, right? And now that I think about it, that principle is kind of like the way back version of what AI can now do for you and supersize it. So I'm just curious if we changed our prompts and really dug in with, like, do this like as if you were Michael Gerber critiquing our strategy, because he is all about repetitive stuff, and then and that the entrepreneur not be the bottleneck, being the one who's like doing the physical work, right? But you're being the mastermind behind it.
Well, you touched on it earlier with like hiring a VA, right? I
Mhm.
did that and it didn't work out for me. I spent a lot of time and energy and poured into this woman who then built her own business and had people underneath her and she was trying to be like me instead of
Yeah,
trying to support me.
right.
And that was really the frustration point was like, no, I need you to be the person I hired you to be and help
Right.
me build my business and not cost me money, but help me make it. And so I think so many of us have had these experiences where we've hired people, where we've invested in things, where we've done something and it's burned us,
Totally.
that instead of being like, okay, well, let's try this a different way, let's do it again. We're like, no, 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 I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. You're like, I learned my lesson. Now, going back to the guy you were talking about, Mr. Insurance. So, in the case where you said, hey, he said, well, I make the most, teaching people about insurance, whatever. So, going back to the AI component. So, you gave him this suggestion. You said, hey, listen, let's build out these videos. And then presumably you're going to put on the hard squeeze, put up the hard squeeze page. People are going to go to the page, sign up, get the digital product, the videos, et cetera, right? Now, taking it one step further, since he came to you saying he wanted an AI clone, could, in a perfect world, could he have like dictated with you the scripts for what these, let's pretend, 4 modules on how to be an insurance broker or whatever it is he's teaching, and you feed those scripts through the AI model and the voice clone and the avatar, and have the a his AI avatar basically teach the classes, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what you could do. You could clone his voice and his image. Yeah.
And so he doesn't even have to be the one teaching the class.
That's the beauty of it, right? You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to, you could have it all. It's just the content, right? That needs, and even that can come from AI too. Like you can put
Yeah.
in what you know, but then make it better, right? Like I
Right.
think I like the word that you used earlier about supercharging. If you
Mhm.
start to think about AI as supercharging, so many people that oppose, and I get haters all the time, that oppose AI or say terrible things about it. They don't understand it and they're not using it
No,
effectively.
exactly, because if you had a conversation with any of those people, which sometimes I have done, not necessarily online, but I will be like, "So tell me what is your issue with it?" Right? They can't they might repeat something they heard on the news, but
Yeah.
they're not critically thinking and saying, "Wow, it can do this and this and this, and I disagree with this part because that," they don't even know what they're talking about. You're like,
No.
that is not even, you don't have to agree that AI is amazing. I think we all can agree that it can be dangerous, but it's here. So how do you take something that's here and make the most of it? Now, when you were talking to Mr. Insurance Guy, so let's say somebody's listening to this and they're like, okay, Tara, I love this. I'm going to call you after this podcast. But in the meantime, what should they expect. So let's say they've never done a class before. They are going to teach people how to do insurance, or a teenager could do it and say, this is how you run a babysitting business, or whatever it is. What's kind of your framework where you start people with? Do you say to him, hey, you're going to need 4 modules of 40 minutes each? Are you going to like what's the framework you're going to coach him through?
With this particular client, he already has a framework, a training, a certification program. So
Mhm.
you don't even need to come up with like the actual modules and script. He already has it, right? He teaches it in person
Mhm.
live. So he would just give me that, and then I could either,
Mhm.
give him a script to film, or we could create his
Mhm.
AI clone and clone his voice and his image and have that do it for him. Yeah. And so what that looks like, say he doesn't have that, is
Mhm.
we then say, here's the outcome we're looking for. Here is the length of time and the investment. And here we need to make this valuable. Act as a, professional educator that is, training in, commercial insurance agents, and develop me a curriculum that is going to be in alignment with these agencies,
Mhm.
and, and what that looks like. So you can, that's the beauty of it, is you just have to create something either from what you already know,
Mhm.
or put it into Claude, Chat, Gemini, and say, make it better. And then you
Mhm.
take that, and then what, right? Then what? So, okay, I have this. Now how do I turn this into money? And that's the ecosystem and the system then, and the systems thinking that I want people to shift into with AI. Okay, so I want you to think about the process of getting customers in real life, but doing it on the internet, right? So you
Mhm.
would have to build a place for a customer to go. Boom, that's your landing page, your
Mhm.
squeeze page, right?
Mhm.
Or if you, publish a book, okay, you go, here's my page where you can put your credit card in and pay me
Mhm.
money. So you need a place where you can take money from people. People can
Yeah.
give you money. And so what does that look like? They put their information in, and then what happens? Then they need to get an email with logins, and then they need to, so you just kind of walk through
Well,
what
I'm
what
going to say first, pause, which we know from GHL, et cetera, or maybe it's Kajabi I'm thinking about, but they're going to put in their credit card for the whatever it is. But then you want them to do a bump up, right? Like, don't you want to say, but wait, do you want the font supersizer for $9.99 kind of thing? Okay. But anyway, I'm just being cheeky. But so yeah, you put it in,
Yeah,
give the credit card.
upsell.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's very smart. Do you know 70% of the upsells is actually usually what makes up a large portion of
No
it,
way.
70%. Yeah, and that's a statistic from Samcart that
Wow.
I recently read, and I love Samcart, as along with Go High Level. I use both of
Yeah.
those platforms, and if you're not familiar with what those are, platforms where you can build these kinds of
Yeah.
funnels that basically will help you collect money, and then automatically send the information you've created one time to people again and again and again. So if people start thinking, okay, how can I take what I know out of my head and put it into something that's a pretty little package, and
Hmm.
then upsell, upsell, upsell as well, and
Hmm.
add on new things? Because I don't know about you, if you're a creative person, you're always coming up with ideas like us.
Yes. Yes.
And how do I put that out so that I don't just have to sling it to people all the time, take credit card information, do this, do that, be on a phone call? Ugh, like, no, thank you. Like,
Hmm.
how do I do it where it just sells itself to the people who have the problem I'm solving, and it does it again and again and again and again? How do I do that? That's how people get rich on the internet. Period.
So,
Just
and
simplify
that
it.
is a perfect thing to say, is that you and I are doing this, which people are going to keep hearing more about, right? But you and I are doing this we're building out this case study,
Mhm.
and it's all about, if you guys have listened to me or followed me on social media, I'm working on this startup called sayyestosheep.com, which I've kind of talked a little bit about, but now we have the 3 patent applications in, and we are using waste wool to prevent the spread of wildfires. Okay, so we came up with a mascot, Sparkle the sheep. Tara has helped me, and Tara and I are doing this little project where we had Sparkle the sheep write a novella. We just put it on Amazon,
Mhm.
right? And so go Google or go to Amazon and look up Sparkle Spills It, and
Sparkle spills it. Yep.
Sparkle Spills It. That's going to be our That's going to be, you and I need to create a commercial to go into this podcast so we keep driving people to Sparkle Spills It, because uh, Tara's invested in this. And so we're going to build it, and that's going to be the top of our sales funnel, right? So that people fall in love with Sparkle and then want to get the Sparkle mat and want to get the da-da-da-da for the kitchen and all the way down. And I think the other thing too, Tara, that you and I should do is kind of play with. I have this course that, I used to do tons of online coaching and all that stuff when that came out, and then wrote the books. But I think what would be really cool is for the two of us to build out this event planner opportunity coaching program that I was just starting again at the beginning of the year and then got sidetracked. But I think that would be really cool, because then we could document kind of the step by step. So how we're building Sparkle from the top of the sales funnel, and then how we build out this course, right? So that it's like, hey, if you like the opportunity, do this, this, and this, and then the exact steps that we took to do it. And then if that feels overwhelming, call Tara.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like with podcasting, right? Like I started my podcast 5 years ago and people said, "How do you do that?" And it was like easy. You just you get a recording, you get a
Right.
guest, you get it all lined up, and then you edit it if you need to and then
Yep.
distribute it. But
Yep.
then people said, "Well, how to make money from it?" And it
Right.
was like, that's where the ads come in.
Yes.
Otherwise you're
Yes.
just talking a lot.
Yeah, which is what I'm used to anyway. So that's good. So let's go back, because I can't believe how much time has gone by. We're going to have to wrap this piece up, but you're coming back to do the next one. So that's good.
Mhm.
But let's just go back to how do they decide Claude or ChatGPT or other, but for them to start diving in? How do you pick it?
So I think ChatGPT, from my experience, if you've been using it a long time, you again have programmed it. And you can take
Mhm.
that program and plug it into Claude if you have not used Claude yet. And you can even ask it, "Hey, how do I transfer all the information I've programmed into you, ChatGPT, to Claude?" And it'll give you a downloadable document that you can then plug into Claude.
Are you saying then that, because we're talking about people who aren't really comfortable with either one, so maybe they haven't built up their Chat GPT for a long time. Are you then saying they should start with Claude versus starting with Chat GPT? Like, is Chat GPT's day gone by?
Well, I think ChatGPT has been around since 2024 and people are a lot more familiar with it. You've been hearing about it. What I use ChatGPT for is imagery. I really like the images
Yeah.
it makes. I think it does a great job with imagery. And the responses are very, you've got long dashes, you've got emojis, you've got bullet points. You can really identify this is ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with ChatGPT, input equals output. So I always say, make this a human response, remove long dashes, remove this, remove that. Get this, making it really sound like me.
Mm-hmm.
And ChatGPT is not as capable of doing something like that. With
Mm-hmm.
Claude, you have all the bells and whistles where you can build out AI employees, you can put in plugins, you can connect it to other platforms like Canva or your Gmail or your Google Drive, and have it read websites for you and do all of these things on a whole other level. So
Yeah.
Claude is more of a business focused, tool. And then
Got it.
there's Gemini, which will make short videos. So I use Gemini to make short videos. Now, again, you're going to describe exactly what that video is, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to generate a video for you. You can only usually do 2 or 3 a day. I use Google Flow, which is also part of the Google package in the Google workspace. They have a $200 version and then they have a $20 version. And that will also generate images and videos using different AI tools.
Okay, so we've talked about ChatGPT, kind of basic stuff and great for images.
Mm-hmm.
Claude, more business, deeper dive, bells and whistles, etc.
Yeah.
Gemini, videos, and then Google Flow. And you're saying kind of videos and images. So how would kind of, as your last comment on this, what's the difference in your mind between Google Flow and Gemini? Google Flow and Gemini for creating videos, like or okay, if I'm just listening to this and I'm saying, hey, listen, I make, if ChatGPT does videos and Google Flow does videos and images, Why wouldn't I just skip ChatGPT and Gemini and just go to Google Flow to do both?
You can do that. It's just a little bit more expensive.
Got it. Okay, so that's what it is. It's just more expensive.
Price point. Yeah. All of these,
Okay.
I mean, they are all free to
Mhm.
use initially. So you go to chatgpt.com, you go to claude.ai, you go
Mhm.
to gemini.google.com, and it'll introduce you to the Gemini app, the Flow app. You can see, okay, I can try these for free. And
Mhm.
then which one do I want to invest in? I use multiple tools because I have multiple clients that I support
Yeah.
and multiple things that I do. But I suggest you pick
Mhm.
one and you just go all in.
Yeah,
And if
I
you're
agree.
gonna just pick one, I would definitely suggest that it be Claude.
Yeah, I agree. If you plan to just it's not a big deal. You're not really using it for business. You're just kind of using it to make life easier and, do some scripts and be more efficient with your grocery store stuff, like all that kind of stuff. Then I think ChatGPT is fine. But I
Yeah.
think Gemini really is, if you're thinking, even considering, hey, I could do this for the long haul, then I think you might as well just start with Gemini.
Yeah.
I mean, start
Claude.
with God, start with Claude. Sorry, Claude.
Yeah.
Okay,
Claude.
well,
It's
this
Claude, darling. Everybody's using
Claude, darling. I
Claude.
know, my
Claude.
God.
Lovely.
I can't wait till somebody comes in with like a Clarice or something like that.
Yeah. Why are they all men's names?
Right. I just, somebody will come in with a pink version.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Tara, we've been
Anita.
at it almost an hour, which I
Oh
can't
my goodness.
believe.
It's
Right. But
crazy.
you're going to be back next time and we're going to dig deeper. So I encourage people to watch this. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please comment. But you can also watch this video on our YouTube channel at The Profit Goddess. And you can put questions there. And then Tara and I can use those for the next one. That would be amazing. And Tara, tell people how they can find you if they're just like, this sounds great, but I'm just going to call Tara to do it. How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah. Well, my website, weisnerads.com, that's WEISNERADS.com, has all my contact information, has some great examples of a huge gallery actually of some of the ads we've made and some of the impact it's had for the businesses we've helped. And then also I'm on social media as Weisner AI Ads or Tara Patten Weisner. That's Patten, Patten, and then Weisner. I'm on all the things. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me for sure.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tara, as always, this has been a pleasure and productive and everything else. I can't wait until the next time. So, everybody, again, if you know anybody who's confused about AI, somebody on your team maybe, forward this episode to them and encourage them to listen and wait for the next one. And by the way, if you haven't listened to the first one with Tara, make sure you do that. It gives you kind of just a great sort of foundation. So, Tara, can't wait for next time. You guys follow us on Instagram at The Profit Goddess, and we will see you next week. Thanks. Signing off from Every Day's a Train Wreck. It was a great episode. Thanks, Tara.
Thanks, Marley.